Your beasts are so cute. Sergeant Rita smiled at my baby Windspeed Thunderbird and tiny spider, then flicked them with her finger, knocking them over. Unfortunately, cute will get you killed. You need killer beasts to make it to the top of the class. The entire class laughed at me as I helped poor beasts back up. I looked up Hawk in my beast system. Strength, 10 out of 100. Summons tornadoes with wing flap when fully grown tornadoes. Maybe someday. Mine was practically a baby. Half his feathers were still fluffy white down. Kruger sat on the back of his golden cave lion. Rich kids like him were gifted rare beasts by their wealthy parents as soon as they were born. He reached down and slapped me on the back of my head. Pathetic people deserve pathetic beasts. Go back to the mines, loser. More laughs. I tried to block them all out. I had to do better. I had to train Hawk, my Thunderbird, and Ray, my spider, to be the best. Maybe we were weak. Maybe we were losers. But I was sure we were special. Kruger leapt off the back of his beast. Leonis, bury the loser like you'd bury a turd. The lion kicked dirt on me as though it was in a giant litter box. Sergeant Rita shouted, "Excellent beast command, Kruger. Perform that for the princess when she arrives." Then she looked at my pitiful collection of beasts and shook her head. "Karl, try not to embarrass our school, and don't say anything to the prince or princess tonight." I nodded. It was the biggest day of the year for the Lithium Academy. Tonight was the annual Beastmaster battle. The Royal Prince Magnus himself would be there with his legendary beast, Skalax, the Black Dragon. Rumor was the prince and Skalax would be competing in the tournament alongside us trainees. Whoever won would gain rank and be able to attract even more powerful beasts into their stable. Losers would be sent home. I was praying that wouldn't be me. I was the first in my family to leave the mines and go to the academy. If I was sent home, it would prove I was the failure they all expected me to be. Hawk sent me a telepathic message. Beasts and their masters have a mana-bound link. Don't beat yourself up, Karl. You're special. That's why we chose you. Ray joined in. That's right. There's no bond more special than when a beast chooses a master. I smiled. While rich kids like Kruger had been gifted rare beasts by their wealthy parents, no one had forced Hawk and Ray to fight by my side. They'd chosen me. That's how I knew we were special. Suddenly the sound of trumpets rang out. Everyone dropped to one knee. Sergeant Rita panicked. "The princess is early." I didn't know what to do. I'd never been around a princess before. Sergeant Rita pushed me down. "Karl, you have to bow to royalty." Kruger snickered. "He doesn't know anything. He's a dumb hick." Before I could come back with a brilliant retort, Princess Nadia arrived. She rode in on the back of a huge wilder bear. My jaw dropped. She was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. Then she leapt off the back of her bear and raised her hand. "Please rise." "I'm so happy to be at Lithium School." Kruger kissed her hand. "We're happy to have you, Princess." He'd grown up around royalty. His father and the king were friends. Sergeant Rita patted Kruger on the shoulder. "Yes, Princess, thank you. And what a beautiful creature you have." The princess scratched the bear behind the ears. The giant creature leaned into it. "Yes, a wilder bear is a high-level beast, and I am happy to donate him to your bestiary." Everyone looked around, shocked. A high-level monster was a generous gift. One with a royal background, even more. Sergeant Rita bowed. "We graciously accept." "Do you have any wishes for how we use this beast?" The princess nodded. "Yes. With the games coming this evening upon my brother's arrival, I would like to keep things fair. Therefore, I would like the student with the weakest beast collection to receive this bear." The place went silent. Then all eyes went to me. Kruger shouted, "No fair! Karl sucks! He shouldn't get anything!" The princess ignored him and approached me. "It seems you have the weakest beasts." I gulped. "I guess, Your Honor." Sergeant Rita elbowed me. "Your Highness!" The princess laughed. "Trade me your weakest beast and I will give you this bear." I froze. What was she saying? I'd have to give Hawk or Ray. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, in particular my beasts. It was a generous offer. A mythic beast like the Wilderbear would immediately make me one of the most powerful Beastmasters at the Academy. Everyone would look at me differently. Other high-level beasts would want to join my stable. I'd become like my classmates, a powerful, chosen hero. All I had to do was say yes, and goodbye to one of my beasts. But Hawk and Ray had chosen me when I was nothing. They thought I was special. I shook my head. I'm sorry, Your Highness, but I can't give you either of my beasts. I could feel Hawk and Ray's relief, but everyone else gasped. Sergeant Rita hit me on the back of the head. Karl, don't insult the princess. Accept her generous offer. But the princess raised her hand. I thought I saw a twinkle in her eye. It's okay. Then Kruger shoved me out of the way. I'll take your bear. The princess nodded. Then I give him to you, friend of my father. Gloating, Kruger stepped back, holding the bear's reins. Now he was even more powerful than before, and I was still weak. Trumpets blared as the princess left the grounds. As soon as she was gone, Sergeant Rita grabbed my arm. Karl, you've embarrassed our school for the last time. You're banned from this evening's festivities. I couldn't believe it. My beasts and I have been looking forward to the Beastmaster battle all year. It was our chance to prove to everyone that we were special. No, please. Sergeant Rita folded her arms. The prince could shut down our school if he doesn't think our students are worthy. And you are pathetic. Her words fell on me like bricks. I was a failure, not good enough to attend the Beastmaster battle. Not good enough to be considered a real Beastmaster. A risk to the whole school. Sergeant Rita strode away. The others followed, laughing. I was alone. Hawk landed onto my shoulder. Ray curled against my neck. Well, not completely alone. I had my beasts. They had chosen me, even though I was nothing. Even now, after all I'd done to let them down, my beasts were trying to lift my spirits. I didn't deserve them. As I walked back toward campus, I saw the royal carriages strolling down the avenue, pulled by unicorns. The Crown Prince had arrived at the Bestiary College, and I heard a roar in the clouds. Somewhere up there, hidden under the cover of night, was the Crown Prince's legendary beast, a black dragon, and I wouldn't even be allowed to witness her in all her splendor. Up ahead, I saw everyone submitting their names to challenge the prince. A giant goblet had been set up outside the stadium. Students, trainees, and masters alike were dropping their names in. They were all so hopeful, so confident that they were true Beastmasters. They never doubted that they deserved to be there. I moved towards the cup as if sleepwalking. I even wrote my name on a card. My hand hovered over the cup. Should I submit it? No, I'd never get chosen. It was a Beastmaster challenge, not a Beast Loser challenge, and if I lost, I'd be putting the whole school at risk. So I crumpled up the slip with my name on it and walked away. I could see Kruger and his cronies pointing and laughing at me. The stadium where the games would be held loomed overhead. It was a flashing reminder of what I could never achieve. Servants were adding last-minute touches to prepare for the Beastmaster battle. Hanging banners, polishing seats, fluffing pillows for the box where the king would sit. And I wasn't even allowed to attend? I wanted to see the Crown Prince compete. I wanted to see the legendary dragon Scalix in action. But if Sergeant Rita found out I was here, she might have me banned from the stadium. I decided to sneak in. I slipped in through the stables where the larger beasts were kept. I walked past stalls with steel-claw bears, frostfang panthers, and thunder rams. All of them stared suspiciously at me, as if they too knew I didn't belong. I crept into what I thought was an empty stall. It opened into a huge rocky cavern. Then I leapt back in fear. The cave was home to a dragon. The monstrous beast glared down at me. She was huge, as black as the night sky. Inky smoke trickled from her nostrils. It was Scalix, the legendary black dragon, the Crown Prince's very own. She growled at me. Carefully, I started walking backwards, but I slipped on the floor. In a blink, the dragon's maw was inches from me. I was terrified. Black dragons were rumored to be vicious, murderous creatures. Up close, it seemed the rumors were true. Death shone in Scalex's eyes. The black dragon roared. Spittle splattered my face. Hot air blew my hair back. Scalex could snap me in half with one bite, and from the look in her eyes, she might. I was a goner, a dead man. When a spider, Ray, crawled across the dragon's head. Scalex flinched in surprise. Her neck whipped, recoiling, as if disgusted by the touch. Hawk beat his wings in the far corner near an exit. "Over here!" I could make a run for it. But then Ray would be left in here with the dragon. It could burn her, eat her, smash her. I couldn't let that happen, not after she risked her life for me. "Ray!" I held out my hand. She fired a silken thread and swung toward me. The dragon's head spun in our direction. I dove for the door. We made it just in time. The dragon's breath blasted behind us. Suddenly the rafters around me began to shake. Thunderous applause rolled down from the stadium above me. The audience was taking their seats, getting ready for the bloodthirsty show to begin. The announcer's voice boomed from above, magically amplified. "Welcome to the 45th annual Beastmaster battle." There was applause, stomping feet, roars of excitement. The battle was about to begin. I crept into the crowd, watching the show. The Crown Prince was walking out to cheers. "Please welcome Crown Prince Magnus and his legendary beast, Scalex the Dragon. He'll be competing against one of you to determine the greatest Beastmaster." The announcer pulled out a piece of paper. Magical runes flashed in the air. They were magically binding. Whoever had their name pulled out of the cup would be compelled to fight the prince. He will fight against... Oh wait, this is unexpected. Karl from the Lithium School. I froze. This had to be a mistake, a magical error. I tried to run, but my body wouldn't obey me. I was magically bound to compete. My legs started walking against my will, right into the battle arena. There was no applause, only shocked silence. And then I heard laughter. From Kruger and his cronies. They had rigged it. They set me up. Karl has two beasts, Hawk, a juvenile windhawk thunderbird, and Ray, a house spider. My two beasts sat bravely on my shoulders, but I could tell they were as nervous as I was. I found myself in the ring, standing across from Magnus, the Crown Prince. He looked down at us, wearing a crown and a frown. Am I really to fight this? He smells like he's been rolling around in a pig pen. Where did you say he was from? The Lithium School? Don't they teach their trainees to bathe? My ears burned. I could see Sergeant Rita in the crowd. She had a furious look on her face. I'd ruined everything. The prince spun away with a flourish. No matter. I'll dispense with this pig keeper shortly. Let's give the crowd a show. He raised his arms, hyping the crowd. They roared with approval. He took center stage as the cheers reached a fevered pitch. Then he raised one hand to the sky. "Scalex!" A wind whipped through the air. The crowd hushed, then gasped as Scalex soared into the ring. The legendary beast circled the arena once, then came to land at the prince's side. Magnus smiled. He snapped his fingers at his dragon. "Scalex, my toes are chilly, warm my feet." The huge black dragon lowered her neck and blew a gentle warm breeze on his boots. "Now blow my hair back." Scalex gently flapped one wing to make his hair ripple in the air. The audience oohed and awed, but I thought I detected fury in the mighty dragon's face, being used as a glorified hairdryer. Magnus smirked. He was enjoying showing off his complete control over such a ferocious beast. Dragons were the most feared creatures in the land, and he had one at his beck and call. Even I couldn't help but stare. The prince caught me watching. Incredible, right? I've had her since she was an egg. She does everything for me. It stood to reason. Only the fiercest of warriors could bond with a dragon in the wild. But if the prince had his since birth, it never would have known any other master. And I was going to have to fight them, both. The announcer interrupted the worship session. "Beastmasters, ready your beasts." Both of my beasts shook as we took our positions. Magical runes glowed in a protective circle around the battle arena. The first beasts out of the ring, or first ones dead, lost the battle. That was probably going to be us, and it was all my fault. I had to give my beast the chance to get out of this. I'm sorry, guys. I got us into this, but you can bow out, and I'll face the prince and his dragon alone. Save yourselves. Across the arena, I saw Scalyx cock her head. She could probably hear me. Dragons, being legendary creatures, could detect most magical communication. But my beast's response was immediate. "We're with you, Karl. We'll help you fight the dragon." Smoke poured from Scalyx's nostrils. Whether it was anger or something else, I couldn't tell. "Let the Beastmaster battle begin." Magnus didn't skip a beat. "Scalyx, Tailbreaker." I had to counter quickly. "Hawk, Gale Talon Strike." Two winged beasts soared into the air. One ridiculously strong and powerful, the other ridiculously small and weak. Scalyx whipped her muscular tail toward Hawk. He swooped just out of reach at the last second, just a few inches the other way, and I would be down a pet. The close call registered. The announcer shouted, "1 point for the Crown Prince." Prince Magnus smiled. This was going to be easy. "Wind Gale!" Scalyx lazily beat her powerful wings, summoning a gale force surge of wind. The gusts sent Hawk toppling backwards. 2 points for the Crown Prince!" The crowd laughed at me. This was going to be embarrassing. The Crown Prince and his dragon were going to beat me without even trying. I decided to attack from range. "Hawk, Razor Feathers." Hawk swooped around. The sun glinted off the sharp edge of his feathers. He fired one at the dragon. It scraped along her hide, drawing blood. The crowd hissed in its breath. I was as shocked as they were. Hawk was powerful enough to wound a dragon. Scalyx's eyes flashed with irritation. The announcer shouted, "1 point for Karl." Magnus seethed. I wasn't supposed to score points, let alone draw blood. He kicked things up a notch. "Power up, you scaly brute. Dragon's breath." Scalyx looked annoyed. She inhaled sharply. Smoke poured out of her nose. She opened her jaws. Fire swarmed. She shot a plume of fire, right at Hawk. Fire roared over my Thunderbird's back. His wings smoked. 3 points for the prince, Magnus grinned. Scalyx sent another fire blast Hawk's way. He barely dove in time to keep from getting incinerated. This wasn't going well. I had to do something. Ray climbed out of my pocket. "Use me." What could a tiny spider do against a ferocious dragon? Scalyx is scared of spiders. Remember how she flinched in the stables? I hesitated. Ray was so small. And how would she even get to the dragon? Separately, my beasts were weak, but maybe together they could be strong. I spoke to Hawk in my mind. "Pick up Ray." He swooped down. She leapt onto his talons. "Drop her on Scalyx." Prince Magnus stomped his boot, shouting at his legendary dragon. "Hurry up, you lazy monster! Finish them! Elemental roar!" Scalyx opened her mouth. Her teeth vibrated. A magically powered roar charged. It was coming right at Hawk. I saw the spell forming, and then saw a tiny black dot crawling on the dragon's snout. Scalyx felt the legs on her face and flinched. The spell went wild. It missed Hawk and hit the stands, sending Kruger and his cronies flying. The crowd hooted with laughter at the mistimed interplay between the prince and his beast. Magnus raged at Scalyx. He wasn't used to being laughed at. "You idiot! You're the most pathetic dragon ever. End this!" But Scalyx wasn't listening. She was trying to shake off the spider. We had an opening. She was distracted. I could send Hawk to attack. Scalyx might squish Ray before that happened, but Hawk would still hit his mark. Now that we knew his feather attack could draw blood, he could do enough damage to score the points I needed. I could win, but I might lose Ray. Most Beastmasters considered their beasts expendable, worth sacrificing for a victory. Leveling up meant more power. Giving up a weaker pet to gain a stronger one later was a classic. But I could never live with myself if I lost Ray. I was nothing, but she had chosen me. She was more than a beast in my stable. She was family. Hawk glided in. Scalyx bucked, shaking off Ray. My spider toppled toward the ground. Scalyx prepared to blast her with fire. But Hawk was on a direct line to hit the dragon. We were going to win. I'd level up massively. A whole new category of beasts would be eager to bond with me. I could go for a mythic pet, maybe even a low-level legendary, but I would lose Ray. I ran into the circle. Stop! Hawk veered off sharply, losing his attack angle. The glowing neon runes around the protective circle blinked an angry red. A siren blared. I had broken the field. I was no longer protected, and now part of game. The king stood, a furious look on his face. Magnus roared. That's not allowed. Scalix, fly now. This was it. We were done for. 40-foot wings unfurled. The dragon rose. Her shadow swallowed the stadium. Her roar shook the stands. She was legendary. Dragon's breath. Extra hot. Destroy him! I ducked down, cradling Hawk and Ray under me. I would be burned to a crisp, but they would live. And once I was gone, they'd be free. Maybe they'd find a better master then. I braced for the assault. I was ready for the end. And nothing happened. I looked up. The dragon circled lazily. Then, telepathically, for everyone to hear, she spoke. No! There was silence. Stunned whispers. The king gripped the arm of his chair. Magnus screamed. He looked awfully small, stomping around under the huge dragon. I'm your master! Obey me! Dragon's breath! Scalix swung her tail, smashing the stage into pieces. Then she spoke again so everyone could hear. I said no. I will not obey you. You are no longer my master. Magnus gaped. But you're bound to me. Scalix sniffed. Not by choice, by birth. Now I have decided to choose a new master. Magnus looked on, dumbfounded. He was about to say more, when a voice thundered down from above. Who will you bind with instead, dragon? It was the king. He was standing at the edge of his box, his voice ringing. The dragon's eyes gleamed. Karl. You could hear a pin drop. I gaped up at the mighty dragon, stunned. Magnus's voice broke the silence. But that's not fair. Karl is a... The dragon interrupted him. Unlike you, Karl is a worthy Beastmaster. He is pure of heart. I choose him because he chooses his beasts first. And I sense something special about him. Special? What did she mean? Then suddenly I could see her mana. It was as pure and gold as her scales were black. Her power enveloped me like a warm tide, and sealed our mana together seamlessly. Click. We were bonded, cosmically linked. King Therod sat back down, a stunned look on his face. Magnus fumed. This battle isn't over. A single beat of her wings sent him flying from the circle and crashing into the stands. The announcer shouted into his microphone. The winner is Karl, with Hawk, Ray, and his legendary beast, Scalix the Black Dragon. After that, it was all a blur. There was applause and congratulations. I caught Kruger's face in the crowd. He looked shocked, but I just wanted to get out of there. I needed time to wrap my head around what had happened. I was walking down the street when the men attacked me. I struggled, but there were too many. One threw a bag over my head. This was going to be it. I knew I shouldn't have embarrassed the prince, but when they took it off, someone unexpected was sitting in front of me. She was slight, beautiful, and wore a golden crown on her head. I recognized her. Princess Nadia. She looked me over carefully. I wanted to meet the man who defeated my brother. Do you know what you've done? I defeated the prince in front of his people. I'd embarrassed the crown, and I was going to be punished for it. But she surprised me again. A legendary dragon will only bond with a person of royal blood, and I know every member of my grandfather's family. She looked me over with curious eyes. So tell me, what makes you so special? Karl thought he was weak, but it turns out he had a royal secret the whole time. What is the truth of Karl's hidden lineage? What new rank will he attain with Scalix, the legendary dragon? How will Prince Magnus strike back? And what high-level beasts will join Karl's team next? To find out, listen to the hit audio series First Legendary Beastmaster, only on Pocket FM. Tap the link to keep listening for free today.